Hello, this is Lisa Marie Graves with MLJS Legacy, and you are watching Featured Friday, where successful business leaders share their knowledge and experience to help you develop and create 360 legacy leadership skills. Today, I have totally great guy that is helping me out spur of the moment, Pastor Ron Johns. He's with Oak Ridge Church of Christ, and he and I have been working together the last couple of years. 4 years, because you helped us with another project. They have a beautiful church with a fantastic room that he is always so gracious to allow us to rent at a very cost-effective price, extremely. We had a BNI chapter launch at your facility. Right. That was 4 years ago, BNI Professional Partners. And then he has also partnered with me for the Women's Legacy Conference the last 2 years and the Men's Legacy Conference as well.
Looking forward to that.
Yes. And so I wanted to introduce him to you, and then we've got some great nuggets that he's going to share with you. So Ron, why don't you tell him a little bit about you?
A little bit about me. I've been living in Parker County for 17 years now. We moved here from Tarrant County. Love it.
That was a long ways then, huh? From
Tarrant County. Loved it. Been working with the church since 2001, January, on a permanent basis. Love that. Raised our kids here. Been part of this community. Know lots of people here. Very impressed with the quality of the business community here, quality of the church community here, the way that people invest in the community here.
Yes.
It's very, very important. So my wife's a school teacher, and I'm a minister.
Teacher at?
She used to teach here at Weatherford Christian School. She's transferred back where we had taught before moving out here to Southwest Christian School in Fort Worth.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Loving it. Starting back up this week.
Yes, and tell a little bit about your church.
It's Oak Ridge Church of Christ. We're in Willow Park. We're not a huge church, small church. We're a family-oriented kind of. We like to think of everybody being able to know everybody, and it's kind of how we do ministry. We're interested in small ministry. We invest pretty heavily in individuals as opposed to programs, larger programs, which can be fantastic. Not knocking that, but that's not our identity. So we're kind of non-traditional for our fellowship, but that makes us open and eager to accept people kind of where they are.
Yeah.
Invite them to be part of getting to know God.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Ron and I, when we were talking prior to going live, we were talking about his unique perspective.
Sure.
That he wanted to share that I think is really important to all of us that are wanting to improve and to take things maybe to another level. And would you just share about what you feel is a great character for leaders to have?
So I was telling Lisa, and I think if you're watching this video, you're already somebody who's interested in improving. You're already looking for opportunities to make your leadership a legacy and something that's passed on. I was telling Lisa that as a young minister, one of the things that hurt me was the fact that I felt obligated to prove myself, and I think a lot of young business leaders are very concerned about how they're perceived by other people, and so they spend a lot of energy and a lot of time trying to look like they know what they're doing, and they're very sensitive to receiving criticism or advice from other people. That there is a characteristic of humility that's essential to truly high quality leadership in every sphere, whether it's business or religion or government leadership. I think while there is a level of competence that's necessary, certainly you want to improve all of your skills, there's a reality that says if you're not willing to receive advice and constructive criticism, so I like to call it supportive criticism, people who want to see you become better. If you're unwilling to receive that kind of criticism from people, hear what they have to say, then you're going to really limit you're going to really limit your success.
So when you received this, were people giving it to you unsolicited? Or?
Oh, certainly. You know, I mean, you're a preacher, you know, so every Sunday, somebody's going to tell you the sermon was too long, or didn't have enough story, or it wasn't funny enough, or you spent too much time on this and not enough time on that. And if you're defensive, you build walls. Early on, I received a letter, an anonymous letter, and there's a lot of folks who tell you never ever read an anonymous letter.
Oh,
if
would
you're
you
in
agree
ministry.
upon that?
Well, I read it. So I read it, and I keep it. I have it in a file, and I occasionally pull it out. I can tell you what it's about. And it was a harsh criticism, and it was from a person who obviously had a pretty harsh, critical spirit.
Yeah.
But it was nonetheless true.
Yeah.
And I took that criticism. I'll just tell you, it was a criticism that my sermons were all about me, and this person was counting how many times I used the word "I" in a sermon. And so I thought, well, how picky. Exactly. My response was this person is so picky, so you know, they're so critical. They're just looking for an opportunity to be critical. And yet, in the letter, what they said was, church is supposed to be about we, not about I. And I agree with that. So I'm, to this day, very sensitive.
I agree.
And I'm laughing with you. It's difficult in our culture not to use the word I all the time.
Right.
So I took that criticism, I filed it away, I pull it out, I remind myself, I do want our conversations to be about us. I don't want every illustration in my sermon to be about me. I don't want to build a church that's built around my preferences or my desires or what I think ought to happen. We, as a church, want to be a church that's open to everyone walking in the door. We, as a church, want to be supportive of our neighbors and our community.
And you know, that's really a great point. Even when I'm typing emails, I'm very, very conscious of too many sentences starting with I.
Right.
And I try to think, is there another way that I can reword that? And the other perspective that I pulled from what you're sharing is, as a company, when you have a team, it's not what I've accomplished, it's what we've accomplished. And depending on, you know, a project and really a success of a company is not one person, but it is a group. And even me as an independent, the success of my business is not reliant just on me, but who I connect with, who I network with, who I partner with. And so it's a very valid, important aspect. And then, you know, kind of a little bit on the flip side, it's always very careful if you are speaking to somebody not to say you too much on the defense.
Oh, absolutely, or putting somebody on. So saying us or we, or staying in that third person or that collective concept is really important.
Absolutely. Okay, so you received this criticism and you kept an open mind with it at a certain point, because it hurts at first.
Absolutely, sure.
You gotta digest it a little bit.
Absolutely.
And then put it in the right frame of mind. And recently, Ron was telling me about something, an action that he took to improve what he does. And would you again share with them what
So most ministers go to, you know, some sort of seminars or conferences or, you know, continuing education type things. And last year I went to a conference that I like, and a young man was visiting that conference as a teacher who is a professional actor. And he was offering to do vocal coaching with preachers, to not only teach us how to use the instrument of our voice, but also to consider how to access all of our natural voice, which includes what we say in our sermon. So he has these two parts he does: the vocal coaching that trains the voice, and then he has what he calls the art of the sermon, that is a package of information that trains you more deeply on how to communicate so that people not only hear, are willing to listen, are entertained, but actually absorb the message, actually pull in what it is you're trying to communicate to them. And that was very powerful to me to hear him talk about that. So I hired him, and it was very expensive, and I felt really bad about spending the money.
Investing in yourself.
To spend 4 or 5 months with him, working over a period of time on the vocal training. And then it's another package to do the full Art of the Sermon thing that I'm actually planning on doing next year. What it illustrated to me was, here I am, one-on-one training with this man who's telling me, he's correcting my posture, he's correcting my breathing, he's telling me that when you get excited you go all nasally in your talk, and it's kind of irritating. And I've been preaching for over 20 years, and here this guy's tearing my preaching apart, but you see, he's a supportive critic, and he's saying, these are the things that you can't hear, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know these things about yourself, but they're things that I can show you, and then I can give you the tools to improve them.
Wow.
My sermons have become more focused. Multiple people have approached me and said, there's a focus to your sermons. I don't feel like I wander at all like I used to.
Wow.
In the way that you approach your sermons. There's an authority in your voice, which surprised me the first time somebody said it, because Arthur, my coach's name's Arthur Morton, Arthur said, when you attain this natural voice, when you reach in and your whole body is involved in the speaking process, you're going to come across with more authority. You're going to come across with greater confidence. That surprised me. Certainly it did. So I guess what I'm saying is that even, at 55 years old, there's a selling point he has, that if you'll train your voice and train your instrument, you, as a preacher, a speaker, a public speaker, you can keep it for the rest of your life.
Wow.
If you don't train it, you will lose it. You will develop bad habits that will literally damage your speaking voice.
Wow.
So there's an advantage. I'm gaining age. I want to be able to speak well into the future, because I'm not a...
Is that where your passion is?
Absolutely. I want to...
Let's see.
Absolutely. I want to continue to be able to do this. So that was a motivation. But then to realize that it began to focus my message, it enabled people to receive my message. It's had an impact. Again, at 25 years old, I wasn't interested in hiring anybody. I knew everything. But now that I'm 55 years old and I recognize the value of investing in myself as a leader, the value isn't for myself, it's for the people that I'm serving, and it's an investment well made. So, the advice I would give to business people, because I am a terrible money manager and I have no experience in running a business, so I can't tell anybody what to do to develop what they need in their business. But what I can tell you is, if you're in any kind of leadership, whether that's leading a customer to a better product or a better service, or that's leading your employees to better productivity, whatever, if you're in any kind of leadership, having that humble spirit that accepts critical support or supportive criticism, and then invests in yourself with empowering the person who's going to be training you to have full access to you. It will pay off. And I'm right in the middle of it. I will continue.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to hear more about the end. And I really like what you're saying about the authoritative, or the authority that you are now speaking, because I know that you've gone through years of training and studying and learning, and to present your message, and people have to know it, believe it, because they're going to share it. And for anybody that's in any type of business, again, having that authority, the confidence is really where a big part of that comes. But that's very interesting that you are speaking, that they're hearing the authority in your sermons. That's good.
Yes.
Okay. Well, any other last little nuggets you want to share?
No, man, this is fun.
I know.
This is cool.
So, because it's so cool. If you would like to be featured on Featured Friday, you do not have to live in the local area. So if you are somewhere else across the United States, I would love to feature you on Featured Friday. All you have to do is email me at lisa@mljslegacy.com, or of course on my business page, MLJS Legacy. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you got some great nuggets about humility and improving and investing in yourself.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.